Hey guys, quick disclaimer about this episode. Two major things I need to address. One, we discuss much darker and more violent content than we ever have in a story before, and some people may find it offensive. Also, the story is set in the Ukraine, and a number of jokes about the Ukraine are made. They may come across as insensitive. We don't mean to make them to hurt anybody's feelings, but simply because of the nature of the story, we felt they worked. If you're offended at all by these jokes, do let us know and we'll be sure to rectify that in any other videos. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking on one of the worst stories of all time. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bad Creepypasta. Toby can't be here today because he bashed his head on the cloud. We are joined instead by the host of the Overanalyst, the host of Overanalyzing Creepypasta.
Hello everybody, thank you for having me. Jacob and Matt, this is much easier than actually having to get my own software to work.
Fantastic. Alright, so today's story is The Truth Behind Super Mario. We all love our famous Italian plumber icon of Nintendo, correct?
We also all love our language of English.
Mario saves Princess Peach multiple times from Bowser and has a closely identical... brother named Luigi. So he's identical, but not. He is from a rated E-game series and all, but the truth will have you shiver that Nintendo could come up with ideas based on eerie, horrific experiences that happened to a victim back the 1970s.
Okay, so out the gates and the horse has already fallen over and broken its fucking neck.
Let's start from the beginning. July 12th, 1974, in Cherkasy, Ukraine. A 23-year-old white woman was looking for a job. Her name was Pavla Florence, and she had blonde wavy hair, blue eyes, 2 freckles on her left cheek, and skinny. She often dated...
She had hair and skinny. She
had skinny. Yeah, she had skinny.
Okay, great.
She often dated men just for their money, yet she had the body of a model. Imagine that, someone with the body of a model dating men only for their money. Incredible.
Not just that, but looking at this from a grammatical standpoint, she often dated men for their money, yet she had the body of a model. Those two statements are not typically opposing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not saying, they were very overweight, but they didn't overeat. Something like that.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, I'm just like, oh no, she dated guys for their money, even though she was hot. Well, yeah, like, okay, learn to English. Pavla never intended on going to college after graduation. Never mind. Because the only hobby she loved was painting. She lived with her friend after graduation, but she never graduated because she never went to college, but then was forced to be kicked out to support herself, since all she did from age 18 to 23 was drink, smoke, socialise, and paint.
Socialise means suck dick.
Yes, and painting is an actual occupation, it's a profession, and I'd like to point out they have fucking schools for that!
Wait. You can get paid for painting. For doing art, you can make a living off that. Don't be absurd.
Pavla travelled around Ukraine for a job, and when she arrived at Kharkiv, she finally found a job.
Had to travel all around the UK looking for a job because the corner shop was a, bombed out husk or something.
Her job involved painting for a company. Imagine that, the one thing she did that was...
And she had to wander all around the Ukraine to find this job.
In October 4th, 1974, a 25-year-old Italian migrant man named Mario...
Ciro Lombardi.
That's a porn star name, if I've ever heard one.
Isn't Lombardi Falco's last name?
Yep. Are you now picturing a Mario Falco hybrid?
No, what I'm picturing is a big exit, big fire exit, and me running towards it. Right, Mario Ciro Lombardi worked with Pavla...
No, you need to say it like in a suave Mario Ciro Lombardi.
Worked with Pavla in the company. Mario developed feelings for Pavla as they worked on a project for an advertisement poster. As aside from a poster that serves no function. But no one knew how Pavla felt. Pavla was a little flirty to most men she met, so it is hard to tell if she liked Mario.
It is hard right now.
And they 10 swapped.
Of course they did. It's creepypasta. What did you expect?
I thought we had gotten over this. I thought after Jeff the Killer, we all decided as a community that just we weren't doing that anymore.
As they spent times together working, all they developed together was just friendship, since Mario had trouble dating woman.
Mario have trouble date woman.
Mario have trouble date woman, so Mario club woman drag into cave.
People, they said he was an Italian immigrant, but what they don't know is he was actually an Etruscan that was frozen in a glacier, and he was thawed almost 2,000 years later. So.
Oh god, you just made me remember the movie Dinosaurus. Eli, put the poster of Dinosaurus up on the screen. Pavla usually rode public transportation, and then in parentheses, bus, trains, in case you don't know what public transportation is.
Really? She want a whirligig?
She rode the rickshaw. Ukraine's a shithole.
She's on the back of a yak.
Constructed a golem out of all of her shitty paintings. Just rode around on top of that.
Bus, trains before and after work, because she did not make enough money to afford a car.
Because she lives in the Ukraine. It's funny because it's a terrible, terrible place.
She lived in an apartment 14 minutes away from work. That's oddly specific. Around February 8th, Pavla was waiting for the bus around 10 p.m. She attended a late-night meeting, but then a normal-looking man convinced her the bus schedule changed and guided her to his car.
Wait a minute, a normal-looking man in relation to what? In relation to Mario? In relation to the fucking bus? I'm not sure if I trust him.
He wasn't nearly as mutated as all the other people.
Bus comes pulling up with a gigantic, oversized trench coat draped over the top and like a little fedora on the windshield.
They take off it, it's just a giant turtle.
Oh, God damn it, it runs off. It's very, very slowly.
If I lived in the Ukraine, I wouldn't trust my own car. I don't think I'd trust me to get me into the car.
The bus was actually Baba Yaga in hiding.
Just because this story is set in the Ukraine, I have such low expectations. I'm just like, it's going to go to sex trafficking at some point.
It turns out that Mario had a cousin in America called Liam Neeson.
Just pictured like Pavla at work, just painting pictures of glorious leader. Stalking, yet thankfully, Lombardi observed what was going on because he usually follows Pavla after work to see where she goes.
Holy shit!
In case he wants to coincidentally meet up with her and talk to her more.
Or knock her out and put her in a basement. I've got a radio picked out and everything.
The man took Pavla to his car. She denied his request to go into his car because the man was acting a little creepy.
But why did you walk over to it? Oh yeah, it's a very nice car.
Lombardi did not do anything in the situation because he thought it was a typical husband and wife argument. The man grabbed Pavla's arm. Then she hit the man with the umbrella along the other hand while screaming for help. Her umbrella swings hit the man twice on the head, which aggravated him. Pavla was then unexpectedly whacked multiple times on the head with a stick in an attempt to make her unconscious.
Okay, where did the stick come from? Was he just like a guy, an ordinary looking guy walks up to her holding a stick? It's like, oh yeah, the buses are totally like not coming, so come take a look at my car. Why you got that stick? No reason.
Lombardi watched in horror as the man stuffed her into the car. Since it was easier to hijack a car in those times, and in the Ukraine.
Because they didn't have any doors.
Not just have cars.
Right, you know what the car looks like? Have you ever seen the Flintstones? It's a fucking sleigh. By car, he means he's got a couple of horses tied to a bathtub.
Eli, for fuck's sake, put that up on the screen.
Yeah.
Since it was easier to hijack a car in those times, Lombardi tried to think of a fast solution. So he had no other choice but to steal the nearest automobile and to just immediately jump to theft without the man seeing him and drive after the man. Lombardi did not have a phone to call the police.
And is it sad that in my mind, my mental image I get anytime we describe anything from this story is it's taking place in the middle of a blizzard.
To me, it's kind of like if they did a Christmas special of Mad Max. The man was driving for 49 minutes until he reached a house in the middle of a large forest nearby the Seversky Donets River. Surprisingly, Lombardi attempted to catch up to him. Why surprising? He's chasing them. Why?
After a while, he got a bit bored, pulled into the bombed out Burger King, the Burger Republic.
The man grabbed Pavla's unconscious body and ran towards his door as soon as he spotted Lombardi driving into his driveway. Lombardi went in front of his doorstep and kept screaming questions. He was too scared to enter the dim house.
Any particular questions? What time is it? Dude, can I use your loo? Where's Marwan? What's happening? What's your sign? Any kind of question?
Did you catch last night's Game of Thrones? What did you think of it? When, oh when will we eat again? The man's house had multiple candles lit inside the house, which was also the Department of Redundancy department. Light bulbs couldn't function properly in that setting, of course not. The guy resisted to respond. The guy resisted to respond to anything Lombardi asked. So Lombardi...
Is he still being polite? Like the guy who conked out your potential girlfriend, but at the very least, she's still your friend. And you're still just asking questions after he cracked her over the head with a fucking stick and drove her to his house. When your first response be, I don't know, tackle him, do something.
So Lombardi had no other choice but to run into his house. So he's really terrified of, like, breaking and entering, trespassing, but he just stole a fucking car a couple paragraphs back. Lombardi ran into the house only to be held at gunpoint. The man threatened that if Lombardi does not enter the animal cage inside the kitchen, he would shoot him. Animal cages are they're a very important part of Ukrainian cuisine.
They're a very important part of any fucking Super Mario fan fiction.
And let's not forget this is actually a gaming pass.
Oh yeah! I've fucking forgotten. Jesus. Between, the story itself and talking about the Ukraine, I kind of forgot that's supposed to be about Mario.
Lombardi went inside the cage, great hero, and then the man locked him up. Okay, end of pasta, we're done.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.
The man grabbed the cage and pushed it downstairs into the basement. Lombardi almost injured his left shoulder and spine, but not quite, but his elbow was bleeding. Oh shit. The basement was the only room in the house with only one candle lit because the man secretly kept a wild, undomesticated chimpanzee in his basement. That is nothing special for this setting.
Right. Are you being, was it actually part of the thing, or are you just making that up? Because it could go either way, really.
No, that's part of the story. The animal was identified as a 14 to 15-year-old common chimpanzee, or Pan troglodytes. The chimpanzee's scream woke up Pavla, and when she woke up, her wrists and ankles were tied onto the floor of Anne's bedroom because there was not actually a bed. The man shut the basement door so that the chimpanzee's screams can be muted, while Pavla was screaming and crying in fear.
Is he going to throw a barrel at the monk?
Lombardi's cage was not locked up anymore because the crash screwed up the lock on the cage door. So he got out, but then was partly mauled on the legs when the chimpanzee attacked him. What the fuck does this have to do with Mario?
Well, clearly that's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong, maybe? The dim candle made it extremely hard to see where Lombardi was going, and extremely scary, but he kept trying to find an object to kill the chimpanzee with. Period. Let's see, and in the parentheses, he was crawling because his legs were mauled.
Lombardi found a small Fat Max Company hammer, then swung it multiple times at the chimpanzee until all of its blood squirted out.
All of its blood?
Wrong it's in that context as well. After that, Lombardi quietly cried in fear because he didn't want the man to hear anything from him. Lombardi's legs were completely mauled, so he could not walk at all. All he could do is hear the events that happened upstairs.
Can I point something out? This man has, he's stolen a car, he's been thrown downstairs, been mauled by a chimpanzee, which he then beat to death, and, according to the description, into a pulp with his hammer, and his reaction to this guy who is so fucking hard that he can do all this, is to lay on the floor and weep to himself.
Pavla was threatened to get tortured in numerous ways if she did not remain in silence, so she stayed quiet, yet with the look of traumatized fear on her face. In her form of bondage, she was raped. Super Mario, ladies and gentlemen. The psychopathic man had a fetish in which arousal occurs from the idea of eating another person by an animal. So what, eat a person next to an animal?
Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure that any type of fetish you can find an R&B song for. By the way, that's a proven fact. I have a joke, but I'm saving it until we hit a more appropriate and less macabre moment in the story.
Is it about
Known
Chris
as
Brown?
Florarophilia. He did not rely on cannibalism, but he had reptiles in storage. Again, were those are not in contradiction with each other, those two statements. Why are we doing this butt thing again? The reptiles he had were mostly from the Ukraine region.
So they
So
were
you know they were fucking badass.
Yeah, they're usually on fire, didn't even care.
No, it was like his version of reptiles. Ukrainian reptiles are like the dragons out of Skyrim.
Okay, reptiles was just a fucking velociraptor.
A radioactive velociraptor.
Velociraptor with huge biceps.
On a motorcycle.
With 100 Chris Pratts running next to him, not bothering him. Fuck Jurassic World. Right. Okay. But he had one Central American caiman, most likely imported. The man went downstairs to the kitchen to get the stored reptiles. Lombardi heard his footsteps, so he crawled back into his cage immediately.
Oh my god! This is our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
The man opened the basement door and laughed as he walked away into the kitchen. Surprisingly, he did not realize the absence of the chimpanzee. He did not see the chimpanzee's carcass because the basement was too dark.
Did he manage to knock all the blood out of it or something?
The candle was wearing out.
Yeah, so either he should see all the blood or he should, smell all of that. Smell the blood, smell the shit, smell the carcass. Come on.
Moments later, the man walked back to his bedroom. Lombardi grabbed the hammer and crawled upstairs slowly. Palva saw the container of reptiles and cried, asking questions. Again, just
random shit you'd find like out of a trivia book, like
How many licks?
how do I get my number to display on my Samsung Galaxy?
which of the 7 ancient wonders of the world is still standing?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Really, I need to know right now. What is wood?
It's wood. Is that some kind of concrete dust I don't know about?
The man told her it was nothing. The man grabbed her left arm and carved off 4 inches of skin, she screamed. Wait a minute. The man grabbed her left arm and carved off 4 inches of skin, she screamed.
Oh, yeah. So she really loud just went, the man grabbed her left arm!
The man grabbed the small hungry snake and made it consume the meat off her left arm. She was then raped again, and the man was even more driven to do more. What? This is just vile.
The fuck is this?
The man.
Someone sat down and decided to write this.
The man. Jacob, should I be reading all this?
Just you can skip over it. Just basically, it's all horrible. Just move on.
Let's see. Rape, carve, rape, turtles, puke, turtles. Okay, here we go.
This is the Ukrainian Ninja Turtles.
By the way, are we keeping that list of items in?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. This is okay. Oh god. Jesus Christ. The psychopathic man did numerous unusual activities on Palva. What, in addition to all that normal shit listed directly above? Look at that. I know the audience can't, but look at that.
It's horrendous. I actually want to be sick reading this.
While Lombardi was crawling towards the bedroom, how fucking long is this gonna take? I mean, we do know our setting. I mean, this is not a big house, I can promise you. The man disemboweled Palva. She was still a little conscious. And then the man made his caiman eat Palva's organs. Great. When Lombardi finally made it to the man's room, he pegged the hammer at the man's cranium. Using big words does not make you intelligent.
When he said pegged, I thought he was going to go for something else entirely. Like, oh, okay, this is turning to it's the wrong kind of story.
Yet the reptiles that were eating Palva's body were in Lombardi's way towards the injured man. The caiman was walking towards Lombardi until Lombardi quickly stabbed the caiman on the back with a sharp object. What sharp object? Oh, wait, right. I'm sorry. I should know this. It was probably your heart. Yeah. Cold, cold heart. I don't even have a joke for that. That sentence is just shitty. Anyway. Resulting in its death. Great.
resulting
The
in
other rep-
resulting in it is death.
Yeah, resulting in its death. The other reptiles were not to worry because they were scavengers, animals that only eat dead animals.
Thank you for telling me what a scavenger is.
I would have never been able to, like in a story which involves rape, I would have never been able to, understand.
Yeah, considering like if you don't know what a scavenger is,
You shouldn't be reading this story.
You're 7.
Also, you probably shouldn't be reading this story.
Lombardi grabbed another object nearby and kept whacking the injured man's body until he was dead.
So, so it could be a bit everything, right? He grabbed a big black dildo,